What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Boeckle Brothers channel, where we talk all things real estate. I'm Landon.
And I'm Jesse, and on today's episode, we are covering our top 5 tips of how to get top value for all your flips.
Okay, so now that your home's finished and you're ready to put it on the market, today we're going to talk about the top 5 ways to get the highest dollar value for your property as possible.
Right. Some of these may be obvious, some of these may be not. That's why we're covering them here today. So, first things first is price. Many people believe, as do we, that price is almost the number one determining factor when you go to sell your home.
Right. You have to be very careful when determining the sales price of a property, because it's very possible that you could price yourselves out of the market and shy buyers away from the sale if it's just too high.
Absolutely, and that's the last thing you want to do. So you want to be careful, take your time, look at accurate comparable sales to determine your ARV or after repair value or your sales price.
Right, and I have to say, it's okay. We do it too. We always price things a little bit above market. Remember, we're a turnkey property ready to move into with high quality. It's okay to price slightly above, but we want you to be extremely careful with how far above you go.
Exactly, and just for a reference, so a premium property has a premium renovation should drive a premium price.
Right.
So maybe we price it 1%, 2%, 3% over and above what we see our comparable sales for. So that's just a frame of reference. It's not extremely much higher than other sales.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go anywhere above 5% above supportive comparable comps. So another downside to overpricing your home could be time on the market.
Yeah.
If you price it too high and your time on the market goes up because buyers start shying away, remember, time is money when it comes to these investment properties.
Right. So price it right, price it to sell. You'll sell fast, you'll take the money back, and you'll turn it into another property.
Yeah, one thing that we've seen is, especially in a market with low inventory like we're in today, is that if you price it just right, you'll actually probably get multiple offers on the property, bidding it above your list price or asking price, which is always the goal.
It's very possible in an environment like today.
Okay, so our second tip to get the top dollar value for your home is making sure that it has the utmost exposure on the internet and on the market.
Yes, you want to be able to find this home anywhere that's searchable, anywhere possible on the internet.
You want to make sure that your buyers could find it on Zillow.com, Realtor.com, Trulia, Redfin, all the major and leading real estate internet sites, as well as it's got to be live on Facebook. You got to post it on Instagram. Social media is the king of marketing nowadays, and a lot of it's free to you. So you have to make sure that it is on all the major social media sites.
Not only that, but once you decide I'm going to put it on all of those sites, you better put it on there with top-notch quality, high-end photography and videography of that property.
Yep, and you know what we do? Whether it's a $100,000 home or a $2 million home, we always hire a professional photographer to go in and take professional high-def photos, because that's what pops. That's what people want to see, and it's clickbait for the internet buyers.
You got to make it stand out, because nowadays everyone's on social media, everyone's posting, so you want to make sure your property pops off the page amongst all the rest, all the other options.
All of our realtors out there know what we're talking about when we say you scroll through a property on the MLS, you wonder why it's sitting so long, and then all of a sudden you see the agent in the mirror with their cell phone taking a cell phone photo. It's like, no wonder that property can't sell. It makes such a difference. Photography is one of the most important aspects to selling a home.
Yes. And in most cases, it only costs maybe a couple $100 to get the absolute best photography done.
Yeah, it does. And if you could take drone photos or even video, that adds to it.
Right.
Of course, we usually only do that on the higher end price points, but we recommend it for all properties that you want to sell quickly.
Drone photos help you set apart, drone videos, even taking photos during twilight and mixing those in with the actual daytime photos can actually give your property a whole different look and feel.
So nothing's worse than getting 2 to 3 weeks into an escrow in a sale of your flip, and then the buyer cancels out of nowhere because of all these repair items that come up.
Right. That brings us to tip number 3. You want to make sure that when that property goes on the market, you've taken care of all the easy small repair items and you have not rushed to put it on the market just to get it live, without finishing the renovation completely.
Right. We can't tell you how many times we've tried to just rush a flip onto the market, and it really shoots ourselves in the foot because the time on market causes us to lose the money.
You get one shot at people coming through sometimes, at buyers coming through and looking at the property. So why not give it your absolute best foot forward to try to sell that property to the buyer? It's just not worth them going through and finding loose light switches and little things that don't work.
You got to remember, from a buyer's perspective, they may not be as construction savvy as you are. When a light switch doesn't work or there's a small leak in a faucet, these could be major items to someone that doesn't know any better.
Even though they're small to us, that could be the determining factor for them.
Right.
They might think, well, if this doesn't work, what else doesn't work in this house?
So a great process that we've built within our own business is a final walkthrough with the general contractor prior to listing home on the market.
Absolutely. It's something that's actually pretty easy to put together. Make yourself a final punch item checklist, give it to the contractor, and make sure they follow it every time to ensure none of the small stuff gets missed.
It can really alleviate a lot of the problems that arise on a typical inspection report, and it makes you look really good.
Before we move on to tip number 4, go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button for us. Tip number 4 might sound super easy and super simple, but it's definitely overlooked by a lot of people and a lot of other investors. Make sure your property is easy to show.
You see homes sit and sit and sit on the market because the tenants or the buyers just don't let people in to take a look at it. It's a major issue. You want to always make clear of the appointment times, or if it's vacant, make sure you're always available to show the property.
Right, and if you can't be, put it on an electronic lockbox so that agents with their buyers can go whenever it's convenient to them. And make sure that if you ever get a call from an unrepresented buyer, you have the time in your schedule to carve out to go show it, because that means more money.
So number 5, and the most important of all these tips, is making the best first impression you can make when a buyer walks into that property.
This is a psychological process, and you have to start there, because when people pull up to your property, they're envisioning themselves moving in and living there.
Right. They got to make it their home. This is their dream home. This is the space that they're going to raise a family in and grow up in. It's super important that when you pull up, the front curb appeal is very clean. Mm-hmm. The landscape is in nice, orderly condition and has been cleaned up.
More than that, even, when you pull up to the front door and open it for the first time, what do they see? Well, hopefully, if you've taken our advice, they see a bunch of staging in the home, better helping them understand what it would look like if they lived in there.
Yeah, we've been flipping for 4 years now. And over 200 properties, we've staged over 150 of those properties. And since we started staging our properties for sale, our sales price to list price ratio has gone up from 90% to 98%. That means we sell everything at 98% of what we're asking for. That's a huge increase in the sales price.
And we noticed that right after we started staging.
Yep. And also, what has staging done for us? It's dropped our days on market down to under 17 days on market after over an average of 100 properties.
Not only that, but a lot of other investors say that staging will actually increase the offer price 1 to 3% on average. So not only are you getting better offers quicker, but you're actually making more money in the process.
Exactly. Staging is super important to the sale of your home.
Now, going beyond that, we even do some little tips and tricks that we want to share with you. One of those being when you open the front door, you see the staging, and you actually smell something super nice and inviting.
Right. This is a little secret of the trade here, but it's Glade plugins. Go get really good smelling, cinnamon spice smelling Glade plugins and plug them in throughout the home. When you walk in and that hits you in the face, it is a beautiful thing. It makes people feel like they're at home.
Now, the only caveat I'll say to the staging and the smell of the home is try to keep it fairly neutral. You don't want to put anything that's too loud or too ostentatious or too much of your personal preference in there, because you want it to appeal to most or all people.
Right.
So having scents that are nice and pleasant and clean and refreshing, having staging that's neutral and open.
Fits all styles.
Exactly.
You don't want to steer people towards one style or another. Nothing too modern farmhousey, nothing too ultra modern. You want it to be really in the middle so you don't steer anyone away.
So thanks for listening in to our top 5 tips. We hope that these help you get top dollar when selling your flip properties.
And for the YouTube algorithm, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel.
If you have any comments, please drop them below.
Until then,
We'll see you on the flip side.